Wow.
What is up, guys? Welcome to the video. Today we're going to be making cinnamon sweet potato protein shakes, and this is by BlenderBottle.com. The special thing about these shakes is we're going to be using sweet potato powder instead of sweet potatoes. So let's get into it. So the ingredients you're going to need here are pretty simple. You're going to need vanilla protein powder, the sweet potato powder, ground cinnamon, creamy almond butter, and maple syrup. You got to get that fresh stuff. Although I like Aunt Jemima, you got to get this fresh stuff right here. Then you're gonna need 1/2 of a banana. I like to get my bananas frozen, and you're gonna just want to cut it up so it's easier to put in the blender. Now this specific recipe was like a BlenderBottle recipe, but we're using an actual blender, so we don't have to mash it up like the recipe says. Next up, you're gonna just need 1/2 cup of milk. Pretty easy there, nothing fancy about it. You can use whatever milk you desire. I like to use the Optimum Nutrition powder specifically. I use the all natural one, but I mean, you can use whatever is your favorite. So I'll usually get a nice big heaping scoop, put that right in there. After that, you're gonna want to put in your ground cinnamon. Now the ground cinnamon is relatively strong, so I do suggest, if you want less of a cinnamon flavor, to use a little less than a 1/2 teaspoon. For your sweet potato powder, and this is the main ingredient here, you're gonna wanna use pretty much the serving size. The serving size is 2 tablespoons, and that is pretty much equivalent to 1 entire sweet potato. Now I know the recipe says 1/2 cup cook and parade sweet potato, but since we're using powder, and the powder isn't as, it's not a 1-to-1 for the sweet potato, I suggest just go on the serving size on here. Next up, you're gonna need creamy almond butter. You're only gonna need 1 tablespoon of this. I'm just using the Sam's Choice one. I think I grabbed this from Walmart, but if you don't want the extra oils in your almond butter, you can use a different brand. Scoop that right in there. Next up, you're gonna need the maple syrup. You're only gonna need 1 tablespoon of this stuff. I actually never usually buy just normal maple syrup. I'm always buying the Aunt Jemima, or formerly Aunt Jemima, now the Pearl Milling Company syrup. But you're only gonna need a tablespoon of that, and I just use the same tablespoon I used for the almond butter, just to save some stuff that I'm gonna have to wash later. So just make it easier for yourself, guys. Now we're just gonna throw the bananas in here, pour the milk in here. And I'm specifically using the Ninja blender. And as you see here, we're not near the max fill line. We're doing pretty well. So we're gonna screw that in and put it on the blender. Now, as I'm going through this, you will see that I blend it and it just wasn't going down. You're gonna just give that thing just give it a good whack. Let it blend. And these Ninja blenders, by the way, they're great. They're really fantastic. I love that they have these smaller blender attachments that you can use instead of dirtying up the entire blender. Really useful for things like this. Now, after making this, I realized this would taste so much better cold, so I definitely recommend adding some ice to it, just enough ice to fill it up, and it really enhanced the flavor. The ice is definitely needed for sure. It wasn't on the original recipe, but I highly recommend it. Ignore my hair right now. I know it looks a little bit crazy. Whatever, I didn't leave the house today, but we're gonna try this, and I expect it to definitely taste different just due to the fact that it's actually not using real sweet potatoes and just using powder. But let's give it a try. Wow, this is actually really solid. I would make this again 100%. Let me take another swig. Wow, this is actually pretty good. I feel like my immediate thoughts is, you can definitely go heavy-handed on the cinnamon, and the cinnamon will like overpower a little bit of it. The sweet potato, obviously it's not going to be as powerful or as potent as a real sweet potato versus the sweet potato powder, but it's still pretty good, and you're getting all like the health benefits of the sweet potato powder. If you've seen my previous video, if you haven't, check it out. But yeah, and the ice is a need also, since we're not actually using a real sweet potato. I think the ice helps. It tastes a lot better when it's cold, and it makes it a lot less thick. I bet you could add more milk too, but I think the ice is just perfect. So I actually would rate this a solid like 4.7, 4.8. I don't have a rating system for these, but this is good. So highly recommend. Also want to say good job BlenderBottle.com, and also sorry BlenderBottle.com. I'm not using a blender bottle for your official blender bottle recipes, but you know what? Regardless, I think you guys cooked here. I think it got like a 3.5 stars on the BlenderBottle site actually, but I think this is pretty good. And granted, the 3.5 stars was for actually putting a real sweet potato in it, but I think this is a perfect high carb, high protein shake. Gives you energy and your protein in one shake, and it's delicious. So highly recommend. That's the end of the video, guys. So thank you guys for watching, especially if you made it to the end. Wait, let me get that good light. Especially if you made it to the end of this video, I highly appreciate you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.